go live here. Okay. Mixer's good. Twitch is good. YouTube is good. Okay, we're good. Let me message my Discord group that we are live. Yay, we're live. Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is. Once again, wasn't really feeling the music today. Just gonna be honest. I am really, really tired. It has been a crazy holiday. Especially the most recent days. We had a windstorm last night and the day before and the night before. That was almost tornado levels. Like, my dad came down last night and told me that once again the Burger King sign down the road fell over. They really need to reinforce that thing or just take it down. It happens so often. Hi, Caden. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Or a good Christmas. Surprised I didn't see you for the New Year's thing, but that's understandable. It was late at night. I am really tired. But this is my... Believe it or not, I'm not tired because of New Year's. I am just tired because of windstorm. And general day to day. I don't really want to get up half the time. Come on. I have one of those bags with like golden chocolate coins. I'm trying to open it as quietly as I can so it's not in the way. I'm just waiting on Rev. Hi, Rev.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Hi. I'm very tired. There's a windstorm.
There's a what?
There was a windstorm for 2 days.
Jesus. What a start to the holiday, or the post-holidays day thing.
I mean, my birthday's in 3 days.
Oh, that's good. Also, I forgot to set up my pop filter.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's attached to the side of my desk, and I'm like, oh, wait, why is this? Oh, no.
So
let me
last
just...
night I was watching somebody play Pokemon Sword and Shield. And in
Okay.
the middle of it, my dad comes downstairs. He looks at me with the expression of, I am done with this world. Like, I am so done. He looks at me, he goes, the Burger King sign got blown over again. And walked away. Because, believe it or not, there's a Burger King down the hill from us. And when we first moved in here, the first thing we hear about is that the Burger King had fallen over for the 5th time because of a windstorm. It has fallen over 6 times since we moved in.
Burger King. The wind wanted its way.
It's like the Burger King even got a revamp. You know, like how all those fast food places got a redesign.
Yeah.
It still fell over. Like, the sign even got reinforced. It still fell over. The winds here are so bad. Like,
Again, the wind wanted its way.
we live in a very, like, one of the most unique deserts in the world, but it's completely glossed over because it's populated. We are on a plateau, so we're like
Mm-hmm.
above sea level, and we're also in a bowl. So when it's windy here, it's like tornado or hurricane levels.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But yes, no, excuse me. I hope everyone had a good cream bus in the new year.
Yeah,
I hope everyone had fun. I know I did. It was an okay Christmas. Not a lot happened, but
I
I'm
don't like
happy.
Walmart.
Mm. The store is actually completely flooded with just junk, and I'm not even talking about holiday crap. I'm talking more like um, just furniture because someone in upper management decided, you know what, they can handle more furniture, and it's gotten so bad to the point that no one can move back there.
Wow.
It's like you're stupid. We told you we couldn't keep doing this, and you're like, no, 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 let's keep doing this, you dumbasses.
So, what's your highlight of your Christmas? Like, what'd you get?
Absolutely nothing. It's
Wow.
like no, I got like about like $100, which I
I
use for
got
like various
50.
things. So it's not bad. It's not bad
Um,
at all.
so we open up our stock. We go to our stockings
Hmm.
first every Christmas, and there's just this giant wad of cash, just
Jesus.
straight cash in our stockings. And the funnier part is, it's all ones. I have $50 in ones. Just yeah, okay, great. I'm the world's worst stripper.
That's fine. That's
Um,
fine.
I don't like Walmart because my brother ordered a whole bunch of Christmas presents from Walmart,
Hmm.
and they sent him an email saying, "Hey, your stuff has arrived." He shows up, half the stuff is there.
I'm not surprised.
So
I
I
am not
do
surprised.
indeed. I have a Nintendo Switch. It's just not here.
Oh,
I have the protective traveling case for it. Uh, I don't know what game will be coming with it. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know anything about it. I just know that I have a Nintendo Switch that's not here.
fair enough.
What are we
But
talking about
yeah,
today? The beating stick.
yes. No, the typical whipping boys, but that's aside the point.
Yeah. Oh, I also have
Anyway.
a new phone.
Oh, good, good.
I'm slowly but surely transferring all my information into it. So don't text me. I don't know which phone it'll go to.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, as for like things going on in the world, it's been a relatively slow week, really, and it's mostly because of just a variety of pointless meanderings. That's why we've only got like three things this week. And the reason, again, like I said, the reason why is because, like I said, it's all Star Wars related, and not in the good way,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny. But
And
but
the other
before
thing that we've like, well, I don't know about you,
go,
but I've come to learn is not appropriate for the show.
hmm,
It is news. I just don't find it appropriate for it
all right.
because it's about Rooster Teeth.
What is that? The whole fiasco with like accusations left, right, and sideways.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it because I
I'm
don't know
not
what's going on.
surprised. Well,
Yeah.
no, no, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not surprised because Rooster Teeth has been going south for a while now, and
Yeah.
it's not surprising anymore. Like you remember how we talked about how Yogg's cast lost what's the word, lost what made them appealing to the people in general. They became more corporate. Was it?
Yeah, for a short time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened to Rooster Teeth. They started just going. Uh, they got bigger and bigger and bigger as the years went on. And what makes Rooster Teeth fun or popular or everything is just it's gone by the wayside. And like a lot of the things they do now, like the quote unquote pranks or the videos they do outside of the let's plays, of course, you don't get that sense of what's the word? Oh my god. You don't get the sense of they're actually having fun or it's actually worth um worth the time or anything like that. You kind of get this feeling that it's all set up, and if nobody plays their part for it, someone's gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, and to be honest, it's not surprising.
I noticed that one Yogg's cast member, I have not seen him like at all in quite some
Hmm,
time. I'm concerned. He's just like
uh,
completely disappeared from the videos and all that stuff.
I'm
But
not
there's nothing in
surprised.
his announcements about him.
Hmm. It's probably doing other things, but again, like I said, it's just gotten to the point where I'm not gonna sit here and bad mouth Rooster Teeth because I secretly have some sort of twisted vendetta and nothing like that. No, no, no. It's just what made Rooster Teeth interesting no longer there, is what I'm trying to say. And it's sad. It's another example of like what happens when you reach the top. Well, you start losing what makes you, unique, really. No, and not only that, you also got like their issues with like I've been hearing nothing but like constant issues with like the Ruby fan base for some reason. That is how it's said, right? Ruby.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I said.
Yeah, I've just been hearing people getting angry about like things, not outside of the show. I mean, like within it, like in universe stuff. Like people are getting angry about like inconsistent characters or things that don't make sense within the universe, like that kind of shit. Like it's you get the feeling another writer was brought in and they have no idea what they're doing, kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I can't, ugh, I can't help but agree with that really, because I'm not a fan of Ruby. I've never really gotten into Ruby as a whole. Like there was something about it that's like this looks okay, but it's not for me, you know? And I never understood why. It's kind of it's
Yeah.
a situation where you're like you see it from the outside and you're not repulsed, you're not angry by it. You're just kind of like, hmm, I
Like
don't know
you're
why, but I
aware of
don't
it,
like
like
you.
there's some bits of it that are like, oh, that's cool, but no thank you.
Exactly, exactly. It's
Like
just
the
like
the
okay.
fighting animations are fantastic. It's just that's really all it's got going for it.
I don't think so because I see that there's a dip in the fighting, and yes, I understand that's because um the creator of Ruby or the motion capture fellow
Hmm.
uh, did die of a heart attack. I am aware of that, and I understand why there would be a dip because
Are you
of that.
sure you're
Yeah,
the guy who created Ruby like as a whole, or
I don't know I know that it was like his passion project.
yeah, he died from an allergic reaction.
Okay, well there you go. But I understand. Like I'm not trying to be a prick here or like
No,
bad
you're
mouth
not. Definitely
the
not.
dead. No, no, far from it. What I'm saying is that I can tell there's a dip and in quality of the fights, and it makes me think it's getting lazier, And like, okay, let me put it in a more concise way. It feels like they have the rig and set up for it. They're not using it, and they're using pure computer generated choreography. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, like something you would find for like MMD.
More like a source filmmaker. Like you set it up frame by frame with little to no fluidity to it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. With
I
MMD, like people
Oh,
program,
MMD. Yeah, yeah, that.
yeah. Uh with that program, like they create the rig, like they don't create the rig, they just create the algorithm for the movements. So
Mhm.
you could just simply download the thriller dance, and whatever characters you have on screen, they will they'll read like the they'll read it and they will dance to it.
Exactly. And that's exactly the situation that Ruby feels like. It feels like um mm, what what's the word? That's what it feels like, and it's
Hmm.
sad to really consider. Uh, Not only that, but I also noticed that when it comes to a lot of Rooster Teeth's writing, like when it comes to villains and characters like that, when the big end fight is supposed to happen, I noticed they get very lazy with their villain, or they get very lazy with how they dispatch said villain. It's
Yeah.
never satisfying. Like, okay, let's take Red versus Blue as an example here, right?
Like one of their
In Red,
oldest series.
yeah, but we'll take this as an example. One of their antagonists in the newer seasons, or I say newer, it's like 2008, something like that. Um, I'm not even counting like not Wyoming. I'm not even counting O'Malley because he's a caricature. He's not a villain. I don't care. But in their 2008 when like Halo 3 was big, their big villain for that was the character Meta. You know, that big predator sounding bubble head wearing freak.
Hmm.
And we were talking about like a force of nature in human form. Like it's this incredibly powerful AI augmented superhuman. And you think, okay, like you would have to destroy this guy with equal or greater force. But yet the it ends like they take him out by like having the group shoot him and stab him and just wound him a lot. And then it ends with them wedging a warthog's hook into his armor, throwing said warthog off the cliff, and then just having him fall off the cliff, and then he's gone now. It's only until later that they reveal that he actually died because all that cold water gave him hypothermia, and he died in the water. That's kind of lame when you think about it. Like it's an off-screen death, the worst kind you can have.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the consistency of how they take out their villains in anything they do. They always either kill him really fucking fast or it's an off-screen death. Like I know that people were angry about like the death of one of the villains in Ruby. It was like some okay, what do they call the subhuman race?
Uh,
Um
Starts with an F. Oh fuck. I
the
really,
Alpha,
I
I see.
no, I really wish that Ostrich was online because like, Ostrich plays D&D. We always
Hmm.
play D&D. He legitimately had a very long running Ruby based campaign.
Okay.
So so you could actually play as a character in the Ruby universe.
That
It
makes
was
sense.
it was
It's
I listened to him to like talk about like one of his friends like playing a character, and a tiny part of me thought, okay, that's just fan fiction.
no, I'm trying to think. Well, again, the pseudo human animal hybrid things, whatever they're called. I know that some people had an issue with like one of the characters,
Faunus, that's what they're called.
Faunus. I'm still gonna
Yeah.
call them subhuman.
I just call
So
them
the
fawn.
subhumans. Okay, so the subhumans basically, um, again showing the space racism. But no, anyway, like I was saying, the subhumans basically uh like there's this whole like species equality thing or like some weird shit like that feels very forced, and at least to me. And like the big bad guy's like some weird um like I think he's one of them, but he's got a deformed face, so he
Hmm.
hides it behind a mask. I think it's like a bird or something. Anyway, but then like this is what I understand from the fans who tell me this. So they're like they enjoy him because he's like menacing, clever, and evil. But then towards the end of the season or series or whatever, they ruin his character because they made him out to be a joke or something like that later on. and then they kill him like really quickly by stabbing him and then kicking him off a cliff, which again harkens back to how they killed the meta. And that's kind of the level of writing and like beating the bad guys I think Rooster Teeth have kind of established as of late. They always seem to fail when it comes to ending a villain or having a proper conclusion to their stories. And that always seems to be the case. Like they reach the rising action and then they don't know how to end it. And as soon as they get to that point, they kind of like fall off the cliff.
That
And the whole thing
sounds
gets
familiar.
that's kind of like the issue I've got with like Rooster Teeth's writing. They never understand how to properly end something, you know? It always feels like there was more on the cutting room floor and they just decided, fuck it, we'll just use this. And we'll make another series out of the empty air we basically didn't do. That's what it feels like. I know that like there are other show they tried to make a thing. Like it has exosuits.
Yeah.
The not Gundams, basically.
Yeah.
I know that crashed and burned like super hard. Which I'm not surprised really. Again, I think Rooster Teeth's trying too many things at once and it's all just kind of exploding in their face. Like, why is this happening? You know? And it's sad. But
Holy shit,
at
there's a
least
Ruby manga?
well, you learn something new every day. That's great. But yeah, like I said, Ruby is their flagship, but I think they're starting to bring the flagship into the iceberg. And I'm not like talking about like, oh, it's a small thing. No, I'm talking like Titanic levels iceberg right now. But anyway. So let me think. So you got that going, but at least things for Rooster Teeth are going all right, except for the accusation shit, which I don't believe for a second. Well, I believe that. Hold on, let me preface this. If we're talking about the abusive prick, then yeah, I believe that he is an abusive prick. However, if it's anything else outside of that, I don't believe. You know, I haven't been following Rooster Teeth outside of that, and I have no interest to, because I'm not a fan of starting or following drama that is boring or is petty office shit.
Yeah, and
But that's it.
sometimes it's just not fun to follow drama in general.
Well, sometimes it can be fun if you have a clear good guy and bad guy, and then you laugh at the failures of the bad guy, that kind of shit. But anyway, speaking of
So,
bad people, go ahead.
the only reason the faunists are allowed to only have one trait is because of the program they started with to make the animation that limited them to only have one trait.
Yeah, go figure.
And one of the creators regrets it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say. Speaking of shitty people, uh, it's been an interesting cream bass for one particular failure of a human being. You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite mutated human pig roach hybrid.
Ooh.
Yes. So, as we all know, we love to pick on Phil here because he deserves it. I often, like, a lot of people have said this before, and it's like, no one is born to fail, you know? Phil is the exception. I legitimately think he was put on this earth to fail for our amusement.
Yeah.
And he has such a big ego that he never realizes, hey, I should probably stop being a dumbass. Wait, what do you mean I can't stop? So, yeah. Go ahead.
Dun dun dun.
Right. Well, and I want to thank, um, Golden Gaming Production, GTG, James the Lesser, a lot of people for bringing this information out, right? And this is basically what's happening. A lot of okay. So to be clear, right? Phil has two houses. I think I've mentioned this before, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he has the condo. God, I can't even do a good impression. But he has the condo in Connecticut, and he has his house in Seattle, Washington. In I believe you said the area was your grandmother or like where your grandmother
Near
used
where
to
my
be?
grandma used to live.
Right.
And it
And you said
makes a
sorry.
lot of sense that he would choose to live there. Somewhat sense.
Because what? The area is like full of elderly people, is that it?
It's filled with Boeing retirees, like people who used to work in like the Boeing factories and offices, who no longer need to work because they are filthy fucking rich. So
Mm.
they're all retired over there.
And it makes sense that this dumbass basically thinks to himself, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go up here because there's no detractors or nothing like that." And it's not surprising. Like, I'm actually curious, right? I want to know what these elderly people think of like Phil being there. Like,
I don't think they're really aware of him.
no, but here would be the funny thing, right? Like, you got people who legitimately, uh, um, what's the word? Legitimately work their yes. Please use that whenever we talk about this
I am setting it
this
up right
disgusting
now.
creature.
I'm setting it up. I'm gonna actually make a
Wait. We
brand new
need a
scene. I'm making a brand new
no,
scene.
no.
What?
We need to have hold on. We need to have that, and we need to have his stupid fucking face somewhere.
Well, I'm setting up a scene.
Okay, I'll find his
Roach
dumb face.
zone. I'm
Okay, where
adding the
was I?
image.
Um. Oh, okay, yeah. So we're talking about like people, uh, who legitimately worked their asses off, right?
Oh
To
yeah, yeah.
to be what's the word?
Comfortably retired.
Exactly. But you have this fat retarded loser basically.
Oh, I
Um
forgot to put the mature sign on because we're idiots with microphones. Like, oops, that's the
um
wrong one. Like, no,
go
no
ahead.
joke, Rev. We can get into serious trouble every time you use that word, even if it's
Oh, I don't
applicable.
no, I understand that, but this is again the reason the world is fucked.
Mm-hmm. YouTube
It's
is
like
fucked, especially.
yeah, I'm just shouting there just this whole world is fucked. No. But
Yeah.
what I was saying is that, you know, you got these people who legitimately work their ass off to retire comfortably in this very um what's the word? In this very nice neighborhood region area, basically. And then you have this loser who is a fuck up in life and everything he's ever done, and everything he ever will do, by the way. And has decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy an expensive house in this gated community here because I fucking and I just one day, like legitimately, I would love if one of these retirees, right, walked over one day and said, like, legitimately pulled him over and said, "You've done nothing with your fucking life. You're a hack. Fuck off." Like that's what I'm hoping that they would happen. You know, like
Mm.
some elderly person, someone who's like 20 years his senior, flat out tells him, you know, puts him in his fucking place. All right, here we go. I think this would work. Like if we just put it under the nozzle, it'll work.
Oh, you got. I was actually gonna go get the image, but okay.
I'm just thinking like if we can
Okay,
crop
yeah,
this.
that works. Let me do this.
I'm so evil.
It's a good thing I have Fire Alpaca open in the background.
Let's
Uh,
see.
uh,
Right. So I'm bringing this. Ugh. I'm bringing this up right now because basically Phil's fucked himself, and I'm not talking like, oh, what he do? He masturbated in front of children again.
oh my good gods, he's done that?
Okay, let me specify this. Hold on, hold on. When I say that, it was basically he was setting up his Twitch. Like, he had a few minutes to go before it started. So he decides to have a quick one, but his camera was on. Fortunately, no one saw anything below the waist or anything like that. It was just on his fucking face, but you could tell what he was doing. And immediately, what's the word? And immediately following this whole situation, he finishes, sits there, looks at the camera and says, "Oh, the camera was on. The camera was on the whole time," and begins playing the game. Doesn't even clean up or anything, just starts. And I'm like, oh.
His
Exactly.
controller.
Everyone retching in unison when that happened. However, the implication as well, or a lot of people have kind of speculated that Phil did this on purpose to, because during that time you had that, I think it was that Hearthstone. What? What did you do?
So my mouse is somewhat borked. It sometimes scrolls, and it just zoomed in on his face.
That's something you'd never want to happen. But yeah, so what I was saying was it's in the back of my mind. I'm trying to remember. Right. It was during that whole situation where I think it was that Hearthstone streamer or someone like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who it's in the back of my mind, who basically she finishes her game and everything. She forgets to turn off her camera and starts masturbating. And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" But it turns out it was like a publicity stunt, right? The implication here is that Phil did something similar to increase his what's the word I'm looking for here? To increase his viewership. Like, he tried to copy it, but obviously, because no one wants to see whatever's down there, he decided to just keep it on his head, basically. Yeah. Well, I bring this all up. I bring up the loser, our second favorite whipping boy here, because this moron has decided to default on his condo. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what defaulting is or anything, it's basically he's not going to keep paying his condo because he quote unquote can't afford it. And so because of that, the banks basically has the complete legal power to sue him, for the shit he owes them. And it turns out this moron has been ducking and avoiding the bank like the plague, specifically because he doesn't, he if there's anything this idiot loves, it's money. We all know that. Like, this is what happens when money controls your life,
Yep.
Well, basically, the bank has started issuing the lawsuits against him. And by the way, the bank is called Mid-First Bank. Do you actually know that bank in the region?
Nope.
Okay, so you don't. Okay. So I have the document right here, by the way. Everyone in the world's seen it. And here we are. So let's
Hold on,
see
I gotta
here.
show you the picture.
Okay.
Let me get it. Hold on. I'm happy about this. The crappy little heads.
Yes.
Okay, everybody ready? We're in the roach zone. Let's get rid of this version of the hazmat. Nope. Delete. Yep.
Again, I wish we had a Twitter so we could send this to like the other detractors.
Image here.
Oh man, this is hilarious.
Transform. Flip the screen.
Transform the shape of containment. Oh man, I love it. Like, this is like now part of our little lore canon here. We have Like, and here we have Dave, the the anti-pig roach exterminator. Oh shit! I bumped my desk. I love it.
Yay.
I fucking love it. All right, so like I said, Phil defaulted on his condo, which is, I think, the absolute worst thing you can do. And the reason why I say this is because this will destroy your credit. Like this basically will destroy you financially. And I have the documents right here. I can show you right there. This is a gas mask sound. Right there. Just so you see, I'm not bullshitting you or making this up. You can see it right there. MidFirst Bank v. Philip Burnell, ETLA.
Oof.
Yeah. And like I said, I have the information right here. You know, yeah, with the address of Oh, by the way, if I say it, it's not. He's doxed himself before, so yeah.
He acts like I did a quick like snooping around in like James' channel just because I find it very amusing to see how much sass he can give to this piece of shit. And one of the videos that like kind of highlights a specific thing about like one of these horrific roaches is Phil accidentally doxing his own wife.
Yes, and no, it's not accidental. And the reason why I believe it's not accidental is specifically so she can't run. And I don't put it past this piece of shit because this is the same bastard who um who told his fiance or told everyone about her hospital trip because she had a panic attack. I shit you not, he flat out did that.
Oh.
And in that he said, and I quote, if this happens again, you're not allowed to take her to the hospital. Just give her a pill or whatever and just leave her.
Mm.
Is it any wonder why she left him? In fact, you know what the funny thing is? That girl, Liana, is happy. She looks well, like healthy, and she has a loving boyfriend. While Phil looks depressed, miserable, and probably has a sexless marriage. So eat it. But yes. So the point of these documents, as you can see here, is basically saying that Phil has flat out not been paying the mortgage of the condo that he bought back in Connecticut way back in the day. Now I want to also point out that he also had a loan here for about $128,627. That's not cheap, but at the same time, that's not exceedingly terrible. If you have a well-paying job, you can easily afford this, no problem. But you see, here's the thing: Phil begs, and begging is an incredibly stable form of income. You know, because you're depending on people's goodwill. Even a child understands this. So, you know, Phil's continued to basically been negging or failing to meet these payments, yada, yada, yada. So now, in point 6, by the way, of this document, which I also have here, so I can give this to you as well, so you can read along what I'm saying. By the way, James and GTG have shown these documents before, so if you guys want to find out about it, just look up James Sylvester. He'll show you.
Yep. Yep.
Right there, in the little red highlighted box.
Holy balls!
Yes. To say you are.
You know he's gonna beg for money.
Oh yeah. So here's what it is, and I'll read point 6. The defendant have failed and neglected to cure the default. The plaintiff has elected to accelerate the balance due on said note to declare said note to be due in full to foreclose the mortgage securing said note. As of November 8th, 2019, the amount due and owing is 101,769.44 plus dollars in accruing interest, fees, and collection costs. To say this moron is fucked is an understatement. And I know this idiot's mind. I know that this is what he thinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that price point, that 1001 right there, is just gonna be like the minimum of what they're gonna take from him. That's what he thinks is gonna happen. This guy does not think in long term. This guy does not understand the consequences of the situation. This isn't just what they're gonna take. This is the starting point. They're gonna take everything else that's worth money. For as long as they need to, by the way. They're not just suing you for the small amount, they're suing you for everything. And to oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry, I could not reach the mute button in time. But this is the thing. They're gonna take you for everything you're worth. And I know Phil, he's gonna bitch and moan to the bank and say, but I got nothing. You know, I have to bet. I mean, job. I mean, my profession doesn't pay me much, and you know, I have to keep this and that, and no, because it's my job, dude. It's my 12-year job. That's what he's gonna say, and the bank's gonna look at that expensive BMW, that big fucking house he lives in, everything else, and then they said, okay, we're not gonna take the money then, but we're gonna take everything you owe. You know, the house, the car, maybe some of those expensive electronics, all that shit. We're just gonna take that and we'll call it even. And he's going to flip shit when that happens. I guarantee you, the second that all this goes through, Phil's doomed.
Yep.
Like he's gonna get on stream, bawling his little fucking eyes out, trying desperately to milk his fans for everything they have.
My phone keeps lighting up. What the fuck? What is going on with you? What?
I see. It's the editor.
Oh.
He's angry with us.
I get a news report from PC Gamer about Final Fantasy VII Remake being leaked.
Oh, good.
All I have is a picture of Cloud with a yellow glass. No, thank you.
I'm still more interested if they actually have him.
Why does it do this? My phone, like, every time it updates, it removes my game from the front page. I hate that.
I have no idea.
Go to sleep. Go the fuck to sleep.
Just screaming. But, well, this is what I'm hoping. I'm still hoping that we get to dress up Cloud in a little dress. I hope that's still the same.
In a what?
And, you know, in a little dress.
You can... What?
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII in the original dressed up Cloud in drag.
Oh my
for a
god.
mission. Have you never known about this?
Okay, so when I was growing up, all I knew about was Legend of the Dragoon and not Final Fantasy.
Okay, well, there's a scene where Cloud dresses in drag to infiltrate a brothel, basically, to get close to the big cheese.
Holy balls. Does it actually
and
work?
It's... Yes!
Oh no!
Because the fat ass basically, because Cloud, at this point, by the way, in the game, right, he's still young, so he easily passes for a girl, and the guy doesn't notice it until it's too late. It's like, wait a minute.
It's like, I don't remember which series it was, but it was Dragon Ball Z. Trunks had the bowl cut hair. They asked him to dress as a lady, and the giant monster that he was supposed to like knock out with like some sort of drug.
Oh yes, I remember that. I remember.
Hook, line, and sinker. It was so dumb. Cause like There was nothing to him. Nothing on him that made him look like a woman. He just wore a dress with his bulging muscles showing, and the guy took it hook, line, and sinker.
Exactly, but again, that's what I loved about the entire story. It's
Oh
like,
my god!
yes, that's the dress.
You know,
But you can, mm-hmm.
with how the 90s cartoons looked back in the day, it makes a lot of sense that it would be believable.
Yeah, but that was basically the point. The whole joke again is thanks to Cloud being young and having a feminine sort of facial structure. Despite having muscles, he was still, it's easy to hide, and it worked. Even and
Wow.
the ironic thing is that during the whole thing as well, you have two other and they also will wear very sexy dresses that like expose everything. And then immediately the if you do your job well enough, like actually make Cloud look as girly as humanly possible, the boss will pick you over them. And it's so funny because you got them in like cocktail dresses and everything, and yet he's going for the kid in the giant fucking ball gown, the most modest thing in the universe. Oh man,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So enjoy that little thought, but yeah, the point I'm trying to make here is that to go back to the toxic creature here for a second, he's fucked. And I can't wait for his wife to leave him once this whole situation just explodes completely. Because we know that's where she's gonna go.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm looking forward to it. My plan is still in the works.
I will be celebrating her freedom.
Likewise. But yeah. So I think we've gone on enough about like bashing this poor unfortunate loser. So let's bash the other poor unfortunate transition.
Yay.
See, we're getting better at this. Wait, what do you mean we're failing? So let's get into it today. We have, like I said, we've got three topics, mostly because very little in the entertainment news as far as I could find, because it's all being dominated by Star Wars. Oh my, on the side, hold on. I need to show something. Um, to go back to Final Fantasy for a second. The guy, right, the one that you're trying to seduce. Um, right, he's again, he's straight from the 90s, so he has a very ridiculous design. Like he's bald headed, but has like a yellow fin on his head, a mohawk basically.
Yeah.
Fad has a oh, I'm trying to remember what his name is. I legitimately can't remember, but basically he's like the stereotypical mob boss of the 90s, like very ridiculous. He actually has a little heart with an arrow through it tattoo on the side of his head and everything. Just absurd.
Aw.
Like I'm trying to remember, like if he's like I don't know how to describe him other than pervy crime boss that looks absurd. But for the remake, I think they've made him look even worse somehow.
Oh no, I gotta see this.
But like in a more like sleazy, I don't pay my taxes kind of evil.
Wow.
I love his hair though; it's ridiculous.
Oh
He's
my god!
it's Danny DeVito. Like legitimately, it's Danny DeVito.
That is a very overused like Nintendo design, believe it or not. Cause
Yeah.
that's the final boss in like Pokemon Coliseum.
Yes. Hello. A 12-year-old beat me in the Coliseum, so I'm here now.
I think it's like a 16-year-old in that game. I don't remember.
That's
It's
even
been so
worse.
long.
But still, funny little tidbits, really. Again, looking forward to the 7 remake. Hopefully, it's better than 2. Still giving me showers. So let's talk about Fallout 76, our typical whipping boy.
Yep.
So again, Fallout 76 couldn't really, stop fucking up for an entire year. They had to do all.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about this incredibly destructive hack that happened over Christmas when we weren't here. Basically, to sum up, this hack allowed people to steal other people's inventories like that fast.
Holy, holy cow!
There was a video of an individual using this hack and stole over 500 plus items from everyone's inventories on their person, by the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it gets worse too. The whole thing was like 10 or so minutes, 5 or so minutes, something like that. And in that time, he basically got like hundreds of people. And this is what makes it worse. It wasn't just like items in the game. It was items from the atomic shop too.
Oh
Things
balls.
people paid yeah, people things that people paid money for, he could steal without an issue.
I was just gonna say, like, if it was something just from the person's inventory, I think that is kind of a command that you can do in Skyrim,
Yes.
where you can open up the I never remember what it's called. Like you can open up the console.
Command console.
Yeah, the command console. You can click on the NPC and type in a command that allows you to see their inventory and take stuff out of it without any
Mhm.
penalties.
Yep. Well, needless to say, this whole situation happened, and here's the funny thing too. Bethesda knew about this hack being created, by the way. There is a person in the hacking forums, the official like Bethesda help desk, things of that nature, who told everyone, "Hey, I'm making this incredibly destructive hack. Uh, go wild with it." And I believe this was in retaliation for Bethesda removing his bringing shit in from Fallout 4 hack, basically.
Mhm.
And I, I don't even know how. Words can't do it justice. The second this thing went live, it was an entire week of anarchy and chaos. We had people losing things left, right, and sideways. There was no defense. There was no warning for players just playing the game. They had no idea who the hacker was, disguise themselves as anything. There was not like with most monsters, not like a ridiculous hey, um, what's the word? There's no like hat that says hey, I'm a hacker. Hey, you need this very specific item to do it. You could do it naked or you could be clothed, basically. And there was no warning. There was no way to stop it. People were losing their items left, right, and sideways. And this happened for an entire week. And oh god, it was anarchy and chaos. People were um leaving the game online. And there's even more to this as well. The hack itself, right? Um this hack wasn't like limited to a handful of people. No, the mod creator flat out made it public for everyone to use, even gave full instructions on how to install it. We're not talking about like an elite group of hacking nerds doing this, by the way. We're talking about an entire legion of normies.
Wow.
I've said before, like with Fallout 76, there were the duplicating hacks, and there were things that basically destroyed the economy of Fallout 76. I've said this before. This isn't destroying Fallout's economy. This is completely and utterly obliterated everything redeemable about the game. I think it's safe to say that the game is officially dead. And the other disgusting thing is that Bethesda knew of weeks before, and they could have stopped it. They chose not to. They let it happen. Ah, here we go. We have an exact number of the almost 9-minute video, and the guy successfully stole from 662 players in
Oh
those
my
8
good
minutes.
gods. Those poor people.
Exactly. And Bethesda, again, they could have stopped this. This is punched them right in the player community. Because as far as I know, people left. People have stopped playing the game flat out because of it. And yet again, Bethesda's done nothing to help. Bethesda's done nothing. Like here's the telling thing, right? Here's the absolute telling thing. When the Fallout 4 let's put in um NPCs and shit from Fallout 4 into
Hmm.
Fallout 76, Bethesda ran in and shut down the servers for PC for the entire day until the problem was solved. Almost instantly. The second this hack goes live, they did nothing. It's almost been a week since that's happened and nothing was done. Or sorry, it's almost been a week when all that happened and nothing was done, basically. And it's still causing ripples to this day. I'm actually looking the information here to find out a bit more about this hack. I'm going straight to Young Ye to find out. Let's see here. Because I know he covered like the fallout of Fallout's hack. Let's see here. Playing Witcher 3, Witcher 3. Yeah, here we go. About 6 days ago, basically Bethesda issued a statement that said, "Oh, we've had some minor issues and no, like tried to downplay the entire thing for the sake of publicity." And that should tell you something about how Bethesda see this. As long as it doesn't hit their bottom line, Bethesda doesn't give a shit what players do. And again, it's telling. It's fucking telling, to say the least. It's it's absurd.
People, please don't play this game.
It's not worth it. This fiasco, like I said from day one, could have been avoided. Bethesda was made acutely aware of the problem. Bethesda had the chance, the opportunity, to flat out stop it before it happened, and yet they did nothing. They let it happen, likely because I'm saying this completely as honestly as I humanly can. Or sorry, I'm saying this with like as much certainty as I humanly can provide. They likely didn't do it because they didn't think it would be that problem. And I likely believe that they intended to put people into this hack, like actually have Bethesda official employees going in, stealing other people's items, specifically so people go back to the atomic shop and buy more. I believe that's why they didn't do anything to stop the hack in the beginning. I think they had purposely counted on this and thought that the hack wouldn't be as bad as it was. I don't think that Bethesda expected the hack maker, the maker of the hack, to basically go in and say, okay, I'm making this public to everyone. I suspected that they had intended to sneak in and get it on their own. Because I wouldn't put it past Bethesda if they did that. I really wouldn't. But this thing has exploded out of control and out of Bethesda's ability to stop so badly, I might, that I think this has done permanent damage to Fallout 76 as a whole. I don't think the player base is ever going to come back from this one. And I know we've said this before. I know we've said, oh, what's the word? You know what I'm trying to say. We've had
Yeah.
similar situations before, and we've always said, oh, Bethesda, or sorry, the player base is doomed and gone. They won't come back, yada yada, right? But I legitimately believe there's no saving this. I legitimately believe that there is no coming back. I think the player base has just been has just been exposed to the fact that they're not safe and that their money is not safe. And it takes a very special kind of stupid to say, "Oh, well, that happened once. It's not going to happen."
Just
Just it's insanity. It's absolute insanity of the highest caliber. And again, that should tell you the level of just like hatred the community has towards Fallout 76. You know, I don't think, like I said, these are actions of a community that hates what has been created. This is like, again, if Warframe released a completely paid to win game mode into their game.
oh,
And the
I hope they
people,
don't.
well, no, no, I'm using this as an example. Like, imagine if, I almost said Bethesda, if Digital Extremes decided to go down the greedy path, create a completely exclusive, you pay to win game mode that no one can win via normal methods, because they want money. And then during this whole situation, someone discovers an exploit in the game's programming that completely destroys this pay to win mode by giving them what they want exactly when they want it. Instead of telling DE, hey, here's this bug I found. Hey, here's this bug I found. Here, da 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 da. I'm telling you so you can fix it. They decide, you know what? I'm gonna tell the whole fucking world how to do, and I'm giving them field day. That's basically what happened. It's it's lunacy, it's madness to see how much disdain for a company, for a game, has happened in such little amount of time. There are no words for this when you think about it. They really aren't. It really makes you wonder just what's going on upstairs with Bethesda. Like what's that expression, or how does that expression typically go? The clowns are running the circus now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly, that's basically what's happening with Bethesda. The clowns are running the circus in Bethesda's offices. The marketing team is basically like, how can we get more money out of this? Let's tie it in and I'm actually legitimately curious to know what Bethesda's plan is now. Like, do you really think the company's gonna survive anymore because of this?
Maybe.
Mm.
Because Elder
And that
Scrolls
doesn't.
Online is apparently really good.
Well, that's the only thing that's good as of late.
But then again, like, Elder Scrolls Online is not actually in Bethesda, it's a different company.
Exactly. It's I forget who made or who's operating and running the Elder Scrolls Online, but I think it's someone or a company that at least knows what the hell they're doing. It's just again, it's in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing to keep in mind is that Bethesda is a subsidiary of ZeniMax, their parent company. And if
Yep.
they're losing profits, ZeniMax will start shutting down projects. So I don't think Bethesda will be shut down because far from it. What I do believe that will happen is that ZeniMax will start shutting down projects within Bethesda, things that won't give them profit back or will cost them more than they will get back, basically. It's a company that will survive due to the fact that it has. But that's the thing, Dunavir. If it's losing money for its parent company, it will eventually start failing, and a lot of the investors, a lot of people who supply more money to the company will start leaving. And eventually, when that happens, that'll be the end of it. As much as we hate to admit that, the world will be controlled by money, money keeps the world going around. And eventually, that can lead to something good, that can lead to something bad. Especially in this situation. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised this happens. So let's keep the hatred piling, shall we? Let's continue this for a bit longer, and let's talk about the fall of Skywalker. And I know it's not the name of the movie, but fuck it, it's the name of the movie. I refuse to call this The Rise.
My mom and dad have been going crazy with Star Wars lately.
Like angry crazy or happy crazy? No? Yes?
Um, my mom loves Baby Yoda.
That's not saying much.
I watched the bombing run twice. I don't remember what scenes go to what movies anymore, dude.
Wait, the space bombing run?
The one that didn't make sense, yes.
Yeah, oh my god. The fucking bomb. Okay. That's from the other the Last Jedi. Those bombers
I will say, like, BB-8's solution to fixing the ship was hilarious, though.
made no sense, but whatever. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
like,
stick my head.
every single bomber gets wiped out by one thing. Like, what the fuck? And my dad even commented, the bombers are going at the speed of snot.
Like, if you see the interior, like the X-ray interior of these bombs, it's a walking disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Like, did no one in the right mind design something like this and say, "Yeah, this is fine"? Like, what happened to torpedoes? What happened to actually shooting bombs at
I
something?
mean,
No, no.
they have probes that they can launch it, they can lob at people. Why aren't they just using something like that for these?
Well, that's the thing. Let me give an example here, right? The Y-wing bomber has a very specific type of missile. It's a proton torpedo. But what happens is that it has two different kinds of firing modes to it. There is um, the traditional bombing type of missile where it will just fall forward, in an arcing angle. That's how it works. And then there's the more traditional way of, hey, we have no fire the torpedo like normal. And they have incredibly destructive and effective payloads for being such small ships. I would like to point out to everyone that in a small squad of Y-wing bombers that nearly got wiped out were able to destroy a super weapon in the Clone Wars, the Malevolence.
Mm-hmm.
Let me remind everyone that that was a thing that happened. So there's no excuse as to why you don't use them. Absolutely none. I hate those. Here's the thing. I don't hate the ship. Let me preface this. I don't hate it. I think it's a creative design. However, I don't think it should be a warship. I think this is more suited to, like, I don't know, delivering cargo. Like you're flying over
Yeah,
it.
cargo ship.
No, no, no. Like you're like going across like a plane that's been uh dug up, right, for planting. This thing flies overhead, it opens doors, and it just starts seeding the entire ground. That's what it would be useful
Oh,
for.
crop duster.
Exactly. This thing is like one very big, slow crop duster you would use in a big farming place, like a
Yeah.
farming planet. That's fine. And I can see the potential. Like you have the gun turrets specifically to protect from people who would, like people who would want to destroy the farm or something like that. That's fine. I can see the ship working as anything else except a fucking bomber. Because one TIE fighter crashing into this thing was
Destroyed a
enough.
majority of the fleet!
Exactly. First off, why are you all clustered together like this? It makes no sense. Spread out. You're in space. Just spread out. Spread out, you dumb shits.
I will say, the graphics look amazing.
And that's not saying anything.
I know. The weird space fighting with, I don't remember his name, I don't care. He had BB-8 with him.
Poe.
Yeah, some of his tricks are pretty cool. Otherwise, like, I felt worse for, like, Leia in that scene.
Oh. Wait. That reminds me of something.
What?
Okay, so we know that when Leia gets sucked out of space, like the whole bridge goes with it, right?
Yeah.
Including the greatest military commander, Star Wars, Admiral Akbar. I'm sorry this happened to you, Fishman. But there's something funny there. Something I need to say. So there is a group I watch, right, called EFAP. And before you start assuming something about the name, it's not what you think. It's not like internet fapping. It's more like it's an acronym. It's every frame a pause, right? And basically, they were talking about the failures of The Last Jedi. And in one of the parts, right, they were talking about, what's the word? They were talking about Akbar in space. And comically, they just start laughing their head. They just start creating this incredibly absurd scenario. In fact, I just need to show you the video because it's only like a minute long, but I think you'll get a kick out of it. So I'll just send this to you.
Oh God.
Yes, it's so stupid, but it's hilarious. They just wait.
He's floating in space. Endor.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Oh god dang it, I don't have closed caption on. I can't hear if they're saying anything.
Hold on. Hold on. Just wait.
Plant Mercy. What the fuck? What is happening?
I'm sorry. It's so stupid.
Whose face is that on that ship?
Roundhead Ryan Johnson, the man who destroyed Star Wars.
Oh my good God, it's amazing. I can't wait to hear that with sound.
No, it's so stupid because my favorite bit of that whole video is during the whole bit where before where everyone's looking at him and they're asking, "Who are you, Fishman?" Akbar just stands there and says, "It was a trap all along," and just runs out the window. Runs out the escape.
I just like the crappy running into the I want to say it's a vent, but it's not.
It's a vent. It's
Just crappy running animations.
He's just running out of just.
How about when he floats up into view with band-aids on his head? I'm gonna I'm gonna put that in chat.
Please do.
Oh,
Quick,
guys,
play
start
Akbar.
over. Why do I keep hitting that
Quick.
button? Stop doing that.
Quick, play Akbar's theme.
Akbar's theme? Question mark.
It's so fucking stupid. But I love it. I love how much time and effort was put into this. And given how stupid the sequel trilogy is, this is now fucking canon to me.
I like how it's
This is what
Snoke
happened.
saying, "Who the fuck are you?"
with a little text as
Oh,
well.
your
Who the
hand,
fuck are
take
you,
me by
Snoke?
the hand.
Snoke 34 ABY.
It's the ends with sample text. Oh my
With the little
god.
words at the bottom that says expectations subverted. I'm laughing too hard. Like I'm sweating buckets and I can't see.
Oh my god. Oh, that's amazing.
I want that to be a thing. Just play Akbar's theme every time something happens. Just have someone crapidly edited running away.
Jernavir, that was glorious. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to breathe.
Calm down.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You know what? I'm gonna take that a step further. Let me open up the group chat.
Oh, please. Oh.
We're dying over here.
It's a trap all along.
I just like the part where like, ocean man. It's just the crappy running.
And Roundhead's fucking head on the supremacy just slowly falling into the Death Star. That is legitimately the best way to describe the sequel trilogy. The Star Destroyer crashing into the Death Star with Ryan's face just sitting there going, "It's fine. Everything's fine."
And the Death Star still goes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh.
I'm gonna be watching that again later. With sound.
Yes. All right.
Oh, there's fantastic.
All right, back to focus. Focus. I'm not gonna be able to breathe for a while. Oh. Okay. Okay.
I need to get up real quick, so
go ahead.
You guys enjoy his pain.
Fucking Akbar floating in space, heading to Crane. Instead, it's to Endor. Oh man, it's so. Oh jeez, I don't know why, but the whole thing is just. It's so much dumber than it needs to be, and yet somehow it works. It's the level of just stupidity that somehow balances itself out into being incredibly funny, and it works. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's like the peak of its peak oh god. It's peak comedy, where it reaches a level of ridiculousness that it succeeds in just balancing itself out. That's basically how I can describe this. And it's again, it's utter gloriousness. Just uh, oh man, I don't know if I couldn't help my yeah. I don't know if like this redeems some aspect of the Last Jedi. Personally, I don't believe it does, but but it's perfect. It's absurd in the way that it just works. And frankly, I can't help but admire again the level of effort put into everything. Again, just for a shitty little joke about Akbar in space. But yes, yes. So, uh, oh Jesus Christ, I'm not gonna be able to to stop giggling to myself. This is just this is gonna be the the end of me eventually. All right, all right. Yes, but yes, we do need to mention some things about the fall of Skywalker. Um, our last episode, the one we had before the break, we discussed the movie's leaks. We basically discussed the whole movie, its plots and all. Neither of us have seen it yet. I plan to see it. Um, what's the word? I plan to see it sometime this week to watch it and get a better idea. It has this movie has just like with this little joke. This movie has transcended bad writing, and I'm not gonna give any money to this piece of shit. I never will. But I am gonna see it in other ways, and I'm gonna see what this movie has to offer, and just how utterly horrible it is.
Are you talking about that crappy Star Wars movie?
The latest one, yes.
So we interrupt
Yeah.
this program with with some good news on my end. I
All right.
ordered something from Amazon. It just arrived.
Yay.
It's a controller for my
Oh,
computer.
good.
So now I
Oh,
can
good.
properly play Lego not Star Wars. Fuck.
Look at Star
Lego
Wars.
Jurassic World.
That's why not. All right, all right. But that said, I need to mention the following. Rise of Skywalker has hit a 70%, yeah, a 71% drop at the box office. It is now coming behind its last movie, which was not Solo, the other last movie, The Last Skywalker. To say that this is a fundamental flop in terms of Disney Star Wars is nothing short of telling. Again, when you isolate and when you alienate fans, the core fans, the people who built this thing, it shouldn't be surprising that when they don't show up to consume your product, it fails. It really shouldn't. And it gets worse too. Um, so a lot of as you know, we are locked in the fan wars with Star Wars. We have the fandom menace and we have Disney shows over there, and non-fan infiltrator fake fans, as some people tend to call them. Um, it's actually what they often say, or what the fake fans will often say and do is that they'll claim people like me, people who are passionate about the source material, um, are toxic, or we're entitled, or we're everything under the bus because they hate us, and they say we're evil, we do unimaginable evil things, right? Um, there is a subset of fan out there called you know how when people ship individuals together, right? You know, the
Yeah,
shippers, right?
yeah.
They'll often say things like, they'll give themselves names based,
They'll give themselves
you
the
know,
acronym of like the two people being shipped together. By the way, that was a lot of plastic I had to undo just for this controller.
uh,
And you know it's
fine.
great when the
Mm,
instruction manual is entirely in Japanese.
oh, brilliant. Uh, no, not his girlfriend. Yeah. So there is a ship in the Fall of Skywalker.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's that fucking retarded Raylo. That's basically what the people or these shippers are called, the Raylo.
No.
And let me be completely honest here. Excuse me. As someone who tends to like write and do things as a hobby, and create relationships in my fiction, there has to be a form of chemistry, you know?
Yep.
There's no chemistry between Ray and Kylo,
Have you
period.
already talked about like Boyega's Twitter?
Yes, we're getting there.
Because I like his response to it. True love shows
Mhm.
her stabbing him.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm getting at. The Raylo shippers are the purest form of toxicity I think I've ever seen. Cause I know that one of the Twitter or someone that they hope she'd get hit by a car because of the Raylo,
Ugh.
and now they've begun sending death threats to John Boyega, and in I think is the most brilliant move I've ever seen. He just doesn't give a shit. And anyone who's going after him, he's basically going, like, fuck you.
And he's just been responding with memes.
And it's brilliant.
Like, I really have no opinion on his acting because I just don't care. But that right there
Mhm.
is brilliant.
But this is why I think, like, I've often said, and I'm not someone who, like I said, I don't attack an actor for portraying a character
Yeah,
in any way.
yeah,
Like, I'll say, I'll call them out when they stupid.
yeah. Like the
However,
guy that played like the Joker in uh Suicide Squad. The guy was an asshole.
yeah, and people call him out for it. But I'm not criticizing his
Yeah.
for how he portrayed the character. I think he's just is a bad Joker because he doesn't embody what makes Joker so menacing. That's the point. With John Boyega, it's a similar situation. I don't hate the guy. I
Mhm.
think he honestly he's a very I from what I've seen when he's like being casual, like professional but casual at the same time, like being himself. He's a
Mhm.
pretty okay guy.
Yeah.
Like he's the type of guy you could probably joke around and pal around, but not go beyond that. So when I say Finn isn't a good character, I'm not attacking John Boyega. I'm attacking the character he plays. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Or when I say John Boyega is okay as like he has decent acting chops, but he needs practice. That's not me being mean to him or critical, being a prick or anything. This is just me.
It's constructive criticism.
That's it. I'm giving him constructive criticism. Just that's it. I got nothing against the guy. He's never done anything to me or to me. That's the point. However, uh, when John Boyega, um, when these people have been attacking, basically getting, uh, when they're trying to shame him or shit or
Yeah.
just everything for the sake of fictional character for no fucking reason. He's just taking it in stride and either rolling out the insults back or just not giving a shit. And it's brilliant. Like I don't usually advocate for actors or anyone who's like high and mighty to fight with their fans. They're okay. I'm not saying that. I have
Yeah.
no idea what that was. I'm not saying that, you know. However, if these people are attacking John Boyega he um just because he portrayed a character or anything, you know?
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah,
Drop out of the call and hop back in because you're cutting out.
sure, sure.
Oh boy. Hey, welcome back.
Hold on.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I'm back. No, what I was trying to say is that I never advocate for that. But when the people are attacking this guy just because he's played a role or whatever, that's when I think he has the right to defend himself. He really does. He's not going out there starting these flame wars. They're attacking him just because. Like here's a perfect example. Like this is a tweet I found. By the way, I've been trying to find good tweets to show this but I've been just getting bombarded with crap, you know?
I
And
know,
it's
Darren. I know.
like look at this. Look how absurd this is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, John Boyega's trying to be diplomatic with certain people.
Some of them just don't listen.
Yeah, some of them don't listen, and others are just basically just, or he's trying to be diplomatic. But when those start attacking him for fucking stupid reasons, that's when he has the right to basically fight back and say, "Hey, no, fuck you," basically. And I'm fine with that. Like I said, I don't think he's a bad guy, and I don't think he's a terrible actor. I think he needs direction. I think he gets cast in very unfitting roles, but that's it. That's the end of it. But then these people are just getting worse about it. They are attacking people over nothing. These fucking shippers are just starting all sorts of hell just because of a fucking fictional ship, and it's disgusting, is what I'm trying to say. And again, I'm not bashing people who ship characters. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Far
As
from it,
long
in
as it's
fact. If
not
you want
hurting anybody.
exactly. If you want to ship fictional characters or do fan art, whatever about it, because hey, it's fun and I enjoy it, great. More power to you. Go for it if you want. But forcing this on other people, attacking other people for it, is not the way to go. But what is it?
Somebody posted a meme.
Oh, brilliant.
I will send you the pictures. It's in two
Please do.
parts, unfortunately.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
First one.
All right.
Come on, Discord.
Anything that moves the
Nope, it
video
failed. Hang
away.
on, let me try that again.
Oh no.
Which is somewhat understandable, because one of my Discord groups just gave me an alert like, hey, we're having trouble connecting.
Yeah, but that's what I love about it. John Boy just does not give a shit about people. Of course, I support Raylo's rights. Raylo's rights. Yeah, there you go. But that's my point. John Boyega just, I've already said my piece on this, but that's kind of what I'm getting. Then you've got like all this other horrendous shit about these problems, you know. And the truth of the matter is, John really has, at his core, basically come up and said, you know what? I'm abandoning ship, and people should too. He's been one amongst those who basically started doing a sort of boycott thing for the movie, and it works. Like I said, he just doesn't care anymore because of how terrible these movies are, and they are terrible. Don't get me wrong. And it's just absurd. Like, let me think. Another point I need to mention as well is that the fucking headphones. I need to point out as well is this movie's constant failures. And in fact, I'm convinced that one character is actually ripping off Destiny or Destiny 2. and that is Poe's former girlfriend, not Boba Fett person. Like, look at that. Look at the armor. Look at how it's golden, purple, and everything. And you can't, and tell me if that looks like Star Wars or it looks like Destiny.
Looks more like Destiny to me.
Yeah, and it's this nagging feeling that I think this was a fuck up somewhere. Like, this wasn't meant to be in the movie or a Star Wars movie, and the prop department just fucked it up and said, you know what? No, fuck it. Put this Destiny looking fucker here next to the fucking space boar horses. Oh my, I hate these things. I fucking hate. Like, you've seen these things before, right?
Yeah, you showed
Space
me.
boars. Oh god, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. In fact, just like I said, this movie has really brought out the worst of people, and it shows. Like so many people, uh, so many people have basically been, um, the non-fandom menace characters have really come out in force, and it shows. And this movie, like, here's the thing, right? And the media, everyone's turning against Disney and Star Wars right now. And I've said it before, it's because Disney didn't give those shows the precious early access bullshit they wanted, basically. Like, okay, when you're making a story, right? You have certain acts to follow.
Yeah.
You have act one, two, and three. This is not the case. This is more like act one, act three, act one, two, and three all in one movie. And it's horrible. I don't think the Star Wars trilogy is gonna go down the way people think. I think, and I legitimately think, the next time they start another movie in the Star Wars universe, they're just gonna try desperately to distance themselves from this whole thing. You know what makes this also worse, by the way? What
What?
Disney has unintentionally made? They've turned the Star Wars story into Palpatine's story.
Oh no.
Let me explain. Let me explain. He raised his granddaughter, right? And at the end of the movie, think about it this way: Palpatine has been in every era now as the big bad. Episode 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 till 9. He's been the one pulling the strings behind everything from every era, and every time he's been behind a Skywalker or has been opposed by a Skywalker, manipulates and turns Darth Vader at Luke, turns Anakin to Darth Vader, is defeated by Luke Skywalker, turns his nephew, and in the end of this movie, it's his spawn, his granddaughter Rey Palpatine, who's left alive, who has killed the Skywalkers. And in the end, it really is the triumph of evil at the end of it. Like, really think about it for a second. This whole trilogy is about how, or this whole saga is about how Palpatine rose to power, maintained power, lost power, but still won in the end. I don't think Disney's understood the fundamental flaw of what they've done. It's crazy when you think about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the amount of, like, I know I'm talking about the movie without having seen it, but I don't need to know it's so shit. I do plan on seeing this freely, by the way. As soon
Good.
as possible.
Don't give them
As soon
money.
as I refuse to, but as soon as possible. And then I'm gonna do a proper revs review on this shit. Like, actually talk about this fucking this abortion in the process. And the funny thing is that I can safely say without a shadow of a doubt, The Mandalorian is by far the best thing to come out of Disney Star Wars. Second to Rogue One.
Mm.
A fucking TV show hemmed by fans who were given power is better. In fact, you want to know something hilarious?
What?
I shit you not. For the big finale, they didn't have enough stormtrooper costumes to get everyone dressed up. So the show's creators actually reached out to the 501st, a fan group, and asked, hey, can you guys come over with your costumes and be part of our show? And they said yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah, because here's the thing: the 501st is like a huge fan club with legitimate um, detachments all over the world. Like you could look up any state, any nation, anywhere, and you'll have a 501st garrison there. So the fact that they reached out for their local one and said, "Hey, can you help?" says something. That is a level of fan dedication and a level of respecting the fans we have not seen in a long time from Disney. And it says something.
Definitely.
Again, it's why I'm going to see the show proper now that everything's out. And I'm going to do a full review on this thing for our show. Because it's worth it. It legitimately is. And it says something. And you know what's funny? Like, honestly funny?
What?
All this bad blood, all this chaos started because of one fucking movie. Because someone who didn't understand Star Wars took the reins and proceeded to shit on the fans. The round head of the Star Destroyer. This is what he is now to me. He's not the Death Star.
Shit,
He's just
man.
I just he's just the spray paint on a ship. That's what he is. And you know what's also equally funny, like flat out, about this whole situation?
Hmm.
Disney, quote unquote, promised him a trilogy of Star Wars movies on the condition that Rise of Skywalker did well. Rise of Skywalker is not doing well. Your trilogy is fucked, Roundhead. It's it's insane, and there's more to this too. It turns out that this movie, the Fall of Skywalker, had multiple cuts to it, like different cuts of the movie that were slightly better or worse. And it turns out we got the worst cut of them all. There's even a George Lucas cut. That says something. That really says something, doesn't it? The level of disdain Disney has towards the fans. Like, what's the absolute worst version we can release? Well, it's this one. Fine, do it. These morons will lop up anything we give them. What do you mean the movie's failing? What do you mean the merchandise is rotting on the shelves? What do you mean we're losing money? That's what it is.
Because that's all it's ever
Like,
about now.
no, here's the funny thing, right? This proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that you could spend literal millions of dollars acquiring an IP, and within only a few short years, turn it from something that literally prints money to something that nobody wants anymore. That says something. That is a level of incompetence I've never seen. And they've brought it on themselves.
By the way, this entire time I've been going through Constable Frozen's Tumblr and seeing all the weird edits he's made. And I love it because they turned Olaf into Venom.
Nice.
And it's really well done. Weird, but well done.
But exactly, and this is. I'm sorry. I know I'm getting on not a high horse. Sorry.
You're going on a tangent.
Yeah, I know I'm getting on a tangent here, but fuck it. I'm angry now. This this is just like I said, the by far the dumbest thing anyone's ever done. This whole mess could have been avoided if Disney respected the fans. And apparently, from what I can tell, the the the
Constable Frozen. It's so funny.
Anyway.
We're Olaf.
But according to information and credible sources, it seems that the reign of the incompetence might be coming to an end. I heard
Yay!
that Kathleen Kennedy and those around her are being removed from power because all this is not doing well, because Kathleen Kennedy's decisions have led to Star Wars' decline. And the implication right now is that they're in talks with Jon Favreau, a true Star Wars fan, one of the creators behind The Mandalorian, and Dave Filoni, who we all know is the grand lore master of Star Wars, and a rightfully earned reputation, too. Here's the thing. If that's the case, this might save Star Wars. But it is a huge if it's true. Kathleen has proven to be a very slippery eel, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's planned a backdoor for her survival in this situation. However, given that this is Bob Iger, King Disney himself, behind these decisions, a man who we all know only cares for nothing but money, not people, I don't think he's going to spare Kathleen Kennedy the ire of being removed from power. I don't think he will. The reason why I say that is because, again, Disney cares as of late for money. And the second that something doesn't produce it, they'll cut ties with whatever it is. And not only that, remember what era we're living in. The woke bullshit is finally coming to an end. People are waking up to and realizing, oh shit, appealing to this phantom audience that doesn't exist loses us money, and we keep shitting on the fans that made us powerful. Let's stop doing it.
We've seen like really big organizations fall to dust very quickly when they do that.
Exactly.
Like
The biggest example.
within a few days to like a month or so.
Exactly. You know what's the best way to describe it is like this. We saw how this trash has affected certain things, including Ghostbusters. I think Ghostbusters was the biggest example of what happens when you appeal to the wrong audience and hope to God it this gambit pays off. You wind up with a several $1,000 net loss. And these movies, as of late, have been bringing in more and more losses than they make money back. Like we are talking, we're not even talking small, um, quote unquote dips in the bucket or small little like issues or anything like that. We're talking about like literal millions of dollars being flushed down the toilet because they're pissing off the wrong people.
Which is
And
sad because like I saw the Ghostbusters with all the chicks being the main characters. It was really good. I liked it.
all right, that's fine. You can like it.
And
I'm
it's
not
not because of the characters, it's because you're like, oh, ladies are representing the main characters. No, it was funny.
okay, and that's fine. Again, everyone has different tastes in comedy. However, when you attempt, and that's fine, but when you start attacking the fans that make up Ghostbusters, when you start saying they no longer matter and every other thing under the sun, or you start calling them racist or sexist because they don't like the property, that's a different story. Any credible argument you may have of hey, it's good is thrown out the window because of that. Now, I'm gonna admit I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters fan, so I can't talk for the fandom. I really can't. However, as someone who, generally doesn't like to be called everything under the sun just because he doesn't like something or because he has a different opinion on something, that's, a different story altogether. And the truth of the matter is, that's basically what spelled this movie's destruction. Nobody wanted to see it because, frankly, and this is just, I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't find any of the people funny. Like, none of it made me giggle. None of it made me go like, "Oh, hey, this is fun." No, it's just more like, "Stop talking. Please stop talking." And the reason why I say that is because, well, you've seen it. You know what happens. They don't stop running their fucking mouths.
Mm-hmm.
And every scene, for some weird reason, has to have someone somewhere quipping instead of letting the scene breathe. And
Yeah, like I'm one of those Ghostbusters fans. Like I love the originals. I loved them. Like I make sure to steal the remote away whenever one of them is on TV. I saw the new one and went, "Yep, this is funny. Like, there is humor, but I only need to see this once."
Mhm.
Though the part with all the slime was disgusting. I couldn't handle that.
Yes, exactly. But that's the point. What winds up happening with this Ghostbusters, the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, rightfully so, is that it suffers the anime voice actor problem. If you ever heard it or if you know about it.
Oh boy.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why a lot of people don't respect anime voice actors is because specifically, um, sorry, my leg is acting up. Because they don't shut up. They constantly talk or they make sounds when they don't need to. Like for example, when a character is uh, talking or whatever, and someone says something stupid, suddenly someone has to go what or huh or just constantly making noises and never letting the scene breathe or never letting the gravity of the situation really play in. It's always they have to make some stupid duck noise or something like that.
Yep.
And it drags the scene down or it diminishes the role of the character or you're making something absurd out of the situation. Like if there's a character suffering from PTSD, why in the world would you have them commenting on their PTSD, something
So,
dumb about it?
two things. One, there's no voice acting, but that game I was playing for New Year's, Stardew Valley.
Mhm.
Sorry, I just read something funny. Um,
Okay.
there is a character that shows up later on in the game who was a prisoner of war. He's a soldier.
Mhm.
And one of the cutscenes, and I haven't gotten to that cutscene itself because something about the character was off to me. But I
Okay.
read the script for the cutscene you get with him, and his wife is making popcorn. Now he is a prisoner of war. He's fresh from the war, and she's
Of
making
course.
popcorn. And the way I was reading it, the way he was reacting to it, and like kind of putting her down and like saying like what I've been through, like stuff like that. That does not sound like somebody who has PTSD. Like I understand that the person that was writing the game probably hasn't experienced it himself, I'm not sure, but the way he wrote it was wrong.
Yeah, of
Uh
course, of course.
yeah. Like and it was always weird to me, but the thing about the cutscenes in that game, and especially that, they they still have like there's no voice acting, there's just text, but you let the scene breathe up until that point. When you're shown the community center, like the camera pans around, it shows everything is all decrepit and destroyed. It shows a tiny little critter showing up, and your character freaking out without saying anything. And the NPCs react to what you do. But other than that,
Yes, yes.
there's not so much there's not so much dialogue filling up the screen because it's all text.
Of course, of course. And that's the thing I mean about the Ghostbusters movie,
Mm.
anime actors in general. They continue to fill the empty space with sound, and that's not good.
It's become a
It
meme now.
exactly, and Ghostbusters 2016 is guilty of that. They don't shut up, and again, to quote Red Letter Media, it's like someone from the studio was hovering over the director's shoulder, telling him, "If no one's talking, no one's laughing," and that's really what it feels like.
Yeah.
And it gets to that point where, frankly, like I said, the movie, if people enjoyed it, they enjoyed it. That's fine. But it didn't do anything new, and it didn't really do anything that made it stand out. It was just a very poor retelling of the first movie. So
The
when this
Marshmallow
new
Man
one,
part cracked me up.
of course, but when the new movie now, people are fawning over it because it is a proper sequel to the third movie. People want to see where the story goes from there, and they're interested. They want to know more.
Yeah,
And
because
ironically, go ahead.
uh, the third movie, um, the original Ghostbusters, like 1 and 2, they were creepy. Like they're actually a little scary. They're funny, but they're scary.
Yes, but the point is that this movie is clearly a what do you call it? What do you call it? A return, as it is, from oh god, what's the word? A return to form, and people want to see it. There is an audience for it still, and the
Yeah.
fact that the movie flat out said in one of the trailers, someone said there hasn't been a ghost in like literally 30 years. Basically, retcons the 2016 movie as non-existent, and I think that was a smart move, really. Like it could be its own continuity if it wants to. People are happy about that. But like I said, with the Star Wars, it's basically the IP is dead, and there's only so few things that are keeping it going. Eventually, I wouldn't be surprised. My hope is that things get better. I truly believe they can. People are still passionate about the source. People are still passionate about the game. My hope is that eventually people will, come around and give Star Wars the respect it's deserved because, like I said, we are talking about a nearly 40-year-old uh, story, basically, that has been around again for 40 years. It's become part of our modern mythology,
Yeah.
and you need to treat it with the respect it's earned over this time. And sadly, Disney doesn't see that. Disney just sees another IP they can buy, exploit, and because they didn't treat it with respect, or because they treated the fans like complete garbage. Look at that. Now you've successfully wasted $400 million useless IP now. Congratulations. But that's all I have to say on that before I lose my mind even further about Star Wars, or Star Wars as it is, I should say. Ugh, but yes, so we can come into our last topic of the evening, and we've kind of rambled around. This one, it's gonna be a bit on the short side.
Hopefully.
So, yeah. So, have you ever heard of Phoenix Point?
Is it that? No, that was the Bureau.
No, but you got the right mindset.
Yeah.
It is an XCOM inspired game. However, it has lived more in infamy as the game that backstabbed its starter and went for the Epic Store exclusive.
No.
Yes, it's rightfully earned its reputation in internet history as the first game to go epic and the first game to treat its fans like disposable ATMs, or not disposable ATMs. It's more like it's in the back of my mind. What's the word? Like income without it, taxable income, basically.
Yeah.
Well, the games come out and no one's talking. It's completely under the radar.
I
Ironic,
wonder
isn't it?
why.
It's almost as if you betray the people you depend on to make your product successful, and they don't support you. It's almost as if you're doomed to failure. Strange, isn't it? How that happens. Well, that's exactly what's happened here. And the ironic thing is that there is a statement from the company's CEO that said that, and I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. It said basically, even if 100% of our backers, people who invested in our product, remove their pledges, you know, remove all their money,
Mhm.
we're still good. We can still it won't matter. We'll still survive and be able to ship the product, revealing that the epic money is basically what's kept them afloat. Well, that's great and all. It's wonderful that you get your product out the door, but here's the question: is anyone gonna buy it though? That's the big one, isn't it? So it wouldn't matter if everyone, all the pledgees leave. What happens when no one buys your product? Then what? And here we are. I predict this game is going to flop hard because it shit on its fan base. So that's a yes, Logan. You can relax now, Logan. Sorry, he's acting up. It's like yes, it's me. Okay, so but that's so we have a bit of an overview there. We've got a general idea of what is going on. So let's talk about the game itself. It's just a shit. I'm gonna be complex. It's just XCOM 2, and it feels like a mod, like a very very crappy. Like,
Yeah.
okay, look up anything from XCOM 2, and then look at this and tell me if this looks any different.
Uh, um,
Yeah,
wow. No, that
yes,
doesn't look different at all.
yeah, it's almost one to one, except slightly more crap. The only difference this game has, and the only thing that this game has going for it, is that it gives you the option to zoom in through the scope of any weapon your characters have.
Uh-huh. And he's dead.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
My computer's just acting up.
I noticed.
Okay, I think it's fine. The mod basically, or sorry, the game allows you to part through your weapon scope any part of the enemy's body you want to damage. That's the only thing the game does different.
Wow.
Yeah, so hold on, give it a second. There we go. It's a creative system, don't get me wrong, but it isn't enough to differentiate it from the rest of X. That's the problem. That really is the problem. So I've mentioned the creature, so let's get into the general story. Basically, a seaborne mist is. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Phoenix Point is basically an organization that was formed in like the 1950s, roughly around that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that they're an organization that Logan. Yes, you're fine.
Poor
Are you
boy.
done? Are you good? Yeah, okay. I don't know what is up with them right now. But basically, they're an organization that transcends borders, basically. Like everyone from different regions, yada yada, that kind of shit. They're disbanded because of political reasons slash the failure of their attempt to create a lunar colony on the moon. Like it's called like Phoenix One or something like that. It fails. The organization is disbanded. Strange alien microbe is found. Then a seaborne mist appears on Earth, and from the mist, strange life forms begin appearing, like crabs and fish things. But then people begin to get infected, and they get drawn to the ocean, and then they re-emerge from the ocean as gigantic, mutated aquatic life forms. And now it's up to you to rebuild the uh, uh, oh, sorry, I'm reading Dinavir's words. That's not the only thing going for it. It is the other thing going for it. That's a damn good game. I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying you don't have the right to enjoy it.
Like,
I
there are
never.
some that like this
Oops,
game,
excuse
there are
me.
some that don't.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not criticizing. Okay, I'm criticizing the game for what it has going, but
Mm-hmm.
fuck's sake. But that's it. That's all I'm saying here. What I'm going to be approaching is the story's game. All right? So these creatures start appearing, and then you have to rebuild um, the Point Phoenix operation, which again is basically XCOM 2's rebuild XCOM. Again, I'm fairly convinced these games were built together during XCOM 2's creation, except XCOM 2 came out first. So, so let me mention the positives of this game. The creatures look amazing. I love the mutated humans. I love strange, very alien monster design. The characters look great. The armors are pretty damn cool. Some of them remind, they got like an early 1990s feel to them. Very blocky and rounded shoulder pads and that kind of. I love that. The setting is interesting. It has potential. There's world building to it too, but very, very limited world building, I should say. Uh, the artwork is fantastic. The level designs are pretty damn cool. I like the desolated worlds. I love the desolated world, the creep overgrowing into like human built cities. I love all of that. It's great. I do enjoy it. Let me preface that. Where my issue comes from, however, is the game's story and how surprisingly bare bones it is as a whole. The whole thing uh, only has a few uh, pieces of text, piece voice cutscenes, and voice acting for units and enemy combatants. The whole story is produced via. Uh, the whole story is told via text messages, uh, or text format with different factions, and nothing wrong with that. It's very immersive. I think that's a smart idea. However, since I've not gone through the story, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. But the problem is that this text format of the story kind of shortchanges the whole thing because not a lot of time and you can tell that not a lot of time was put into the story, resulting in the game kind of having a very hollowed and empty storyline as a result. But that's not to say the factions aren't interesting. You've got three. You have a humanity survivalist society, which I'm trying to remember if it was like called I think it's New Jericho. I think like that. I could be wrong though. I'm trying to remember its name exactly. You got that going on, and the whole idea is that it's focused via one man's will, and he's been able to keep it going. A rapture, basically, but a good kind of rapture. Then you have a human evolutionist group whose whole focus is let's use the Pandora virus. Yes, it's called the Pandoran virus, and infect ourselves with it to cause beneficial mutations like harder skin or multiple limbs for more weapons, that kind of shit.
Oh, so
And
it's
then
like
you
that
have
evil organization in the first XCOM game.
Exalt, but it's not like that. It's more like a very actually what's it called? That's it. Disciples of Anu. That's what they're called. But they're not like Exalt. They're not like, oh, we're secretly working monsters. It's actually very interesting. It's very cult like. They hide their faces behind these weird porcelain masks. And well, not porcelain, but like metal face masks. And they hide the mutations, but those who are like being mutated, they exemplify the mutation aspects of their body, which I enjoy. It's a fun idea. It's an interesting concept. It's fucking weird as all hell, but hey, I appreciate it. And it's refreshing to see a mutation-based society, or one that sees beneficial mutations, uh, represented in a positive light. Like, not purely, oh, they're abominations, therefore we must destroy. It's interesting. And it's refreshing, I should say. And then lastly, you have a bunch of a scientist society, which basically their whole deal is they don't believe that humanity should have hierarchies. Therefore, every person is an individual, and yada 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 yada. The idea.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a very brief overview. It is a mini review, mind you, so keep that in mind. But that's the whole thing, and I've often kind of joked and said they're the biggest pushovers I think I've ever seen. But that's it. But these are all the factions, and the goal is you have to work with one of these factions to stop the infection. It turns out that the infection is actually not what you think. It's a bioweapon created by a unknown moon slash planet size super alien that wants to terraform Earth for reasons we don't know. And again, this is where the Lovecraftian influences of the game kind of show. And I appreciate the look, but at the same time, I'm kind of like I get the feeling this is kind of like suddenly lazy writing. You know, it feels like a pull from the left turn, and it's odd, especially to me. And this is where the game has multiple endings to it, but the endings kind of they're kind of trash, to be honest. It all ends nearly the same way. The super being is just defeated, and humanity survives. If you go with like New Jericho, humanity removes the creature by complete another operation. No, excuse me. Complete another human supremacy obliteration, and the creatures and the super creature is killed, resulting in a new society being formed, like an empire, but individual freedoms are upheld beyond all else. So that's going on, and of course, the founder of this empire is stepping down because he doesn't believe he should shoulder the burden of leadership. If you go with the flesh cult, which I think is supposed to be the proper ending, they basically it turns out their priestess can hear this moon alien, and then she tricks it into believing she's a willing servant, and then she takes control of his terraformed creature, cuts him off from the entire network of the Pandoran virus, and then humanity is free to start shaping and evolving as they see fit, where the individual evolution is decided through the virus and their own will, which I think is a cool idea. It's not done very often,
Yeah.
which is appreciative. The scientist group is just basically, hey, everyone be free to be who they are, and hail science. So yeah. And then there's like a sort of bad ending, where basically I keep almost calling it XCOM.
Just
I'm
call it
not wrong.
XCOM at this point.
Well, basically XCOM says because none of the factions supported XCOM to build up, to fight against the super alien, because they all wanted to do things their way. Uh, XCOM builds a gene weapon, plants it on the super creature, and then detonates it. But the fallout basically kills like 99.9% of the biome and life on Earth. Humans will live, but the world is scarred beyond recognition. The factions collapse. It's a dead world, basically, but we'll find a way to survive. And that's basically it. Or sorry, that's basically everything that Point Phoenix has to offer in terms of story. And to be completely honest, it's not a bad story setup, but I think it needed actual cutscenes, like actual proper storytelling to flesh out some of the concepts and
Yeah.
more of it. I mean, you do get a few of those cutscenes with like the scientist who discovers the virus and the introduction and then the ending cutscenes. You do get those, but again, it feels like they feel disjointed in the overall story, and the flow feels considerably off from the rest of it, unfortunately.
I have to ask, who was your favorite character in XCOM? Not XCOM 2, XCOM.
Oh, from the NPCs, Shen. I like Shen.
The engineer.
Yeah, because it was clear he had certain boundaries he wouldn't cross, where Valen clearly was willing to cross every boundary
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of scenes.
She was very
Besides,
brutal with her examinations too.
yes, and I got the sense In any other circumstances, you would be a war criminal, wouldn't you?
Very likely.
But no,
Very,
for
very likely.
Shen, I enjoyed Shen because I tend to enjoy the mechanical side of XCOM and some of the machines. And even when he suggests the cyborg initiative, he's
Hesitant.
against it. Exactly, because it's like we are butchering these people. We shouldn't take this lightly. And I enjoyed that. Like he understands that there are certain things you shouldn't do, but because it's war, he has to do it. But he's not. At least he gives people a choice. Where Valorant's more like, let's inject alien DNA into balls. Because why not?
Oh, if you kill this thing, could you please bring it back? I don't care if it's viscera. I want to get my hands dirty.
Okay. Like you're just looking at it like, okay, okay.
Like, god damn.
Yeah, but that's the thing of that's what I enjoyed about XCOM. With this one, you don't really do that. You meet the leaders via text messages and talks with them, but it lacks that human interaction. It's immersive, but it's not. How do I put it? It's an immersive situation, but it lacks soul, basically, which is sad because I would have loved to meet the leaders and hear their voices, find out what they are more like, and that sort of, which is sad. Especially like the disciples of Anu. I would love to hear how their deformed voices make sounds or how they try to remain human even though they're monsters. I liked it.
Yeah, XCOM and XCOM 2 has a charm about it. Because
Yeah,
it's a passion project, really. And it
exactly.
kind of plays on 1920s, 1930s radio shows about aliens. Because that was everywhere.
Hold on. Let's see. Dunavir's
Yeah.
text thing popping.
It pops up on stream as well, so.
Yeah, it's a charm, exactly. Just like you said. That's the thing about it. This game lacks that charm to it. I've described it to Mort several times. It's basically this game has impressive bones, but the creators think the bones will, draw people in. It's not the flesh we add to it.
No,
That's the
not at
sad thing,
all.
really.
You know what I've noticed?
Mm.
Mutant Year Zero, or Year One, whichever one it was. Like, we talked about it and then it just stopped existing. I haven't heard anything about it since then.
Oh no, there's more to it. Um, Mutant Year Zero's had some story stuff going.
Yeah.
Um, there was a brief story that basically, but
He loved XCOM 2 for one reason. The big fuck off mech we could get. It was
exactly.
my so I watched Yogscast Rithian, or just Rithian. I watch his playthroughs of XCOM and XCOM 2 cuz you can tell he enjoys it, like he loves what he's doing even if like
Uh-huh.
certain things are wasted. So in his playthrough, he makes the Yogs cast in the game. For some reason,
Mhm.
one character keeps getting that weird 90s haircut where it's almost a mushroom cloud for hair, but it's flat at the top.
Yeah, the brush. That's what it's called.
Yeah, like the Duke Nukem kind of hair, something like that. But he
Flat
turn
top brush, etc.
yeah, he turns Sips into a cyborg in the first one. So he was this giant mech guy, but he didn't speak English. So like everybody in the comments started like begging him to turn Shin into a mech, and he's like, yeah, okay. And that in that game, when you make a cyborg, it's not cheap. It's
No, it is
pricey
not.
to do that. So he turned Shin into a mech, and the first mission he uses him in, he dies. And like in XCOM 2, Zoe, like the sweetest person in the Ox cast, in my opinion, who's also kind of
Mhm.
sadistic, depending if you play like Sea of Thieves or D&D with her, like dear gods. Um, because of
Hold on, keep going. I need to.
issues with like the game, where sometimes it'll roll back whenever he closes the game because he doesn't save it properly. I don't know what was going on. It was his computer or something. Zoe has died 3 or 4 times in that game. In like XCOM 2. And I found it so funny. Sad but funny.
And I'm back. Exactly. And to be completely, like I said, frank, Point Phoenix, like we've said, Point Phoenix lacks on a lot of things that makes XCOM enjoyable. But the problem also becomes with, or sorry, the problem also comes with how the game is made, how the game is produced, etc., etc., etc. And in the end, or as with most people typically describe it, um, like I said, if people enjoy the game, let them enjoy it. I don't think it's gonna be um, what's the word? I don't think it's going to sell really well. Again, it's a very niche game, and because of when it's epic, I don't think it's gonna break anything. It's probably going to
Yeah.
be a net loss for the company than it is a net win. And to be honest, they kind of brought that on themselves too, especially when it came down to what's the word? Especially when it came down to how they handled the Epic Store exclusivity and how they handled the fallout of it. They did what the fans would expect, and there we go. Again, like Doomcock tends to say, it's basically without respect, we reject. And it's true. That's basically what wound up happening. And honestly, I don't see this game getting much further than what it originally intended. It's not going to be the next XCOM. I think XCOM 2 has basically, um, it basically has, oh, what's the word? Cemented itself. That's it. Cemented itself as the bench of of its kind of game, and that's basically what it's become. Like there's so much that XCOM 2 offers to its players, both through what's the word? Both through oh geez, the workshop. That's it. Both through the workshop itself and um, what the devs have also given the fans too. Hence why XCOM 2, is still popular, why people still play, people still enjoy it for what it is. However, at the same time, this game lacks that capability, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. And I wish that wasn't the case. I really wish it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh well. Like I said, I think a lot of people should wait for Point Phoenix to eventually leave, because I think the fans for this type of game are more on Steam itself. And I truly do believe that eventually, once it goes to Steam as it was originally intended, we will see more people playing it. Maybe more people would like what they've got or like what it has to offer. But again, like I said, it's a big what if scenario. Is there still enough goodwill held by the fans or by anyone? And I don't think that's the case. Like I said, I think they've pissed on it too much. But that's about, and again, that's really all I have to say about this, really, at the end of the day. Maybe in the future, when more information for the game comes out, or more of cover it, I'll be able to tell more succinctly my thoughts on it, really. But until then, it's just gonna, really. But until then, like I said, I give this a very hesitant Um, sorry. Sorry, I just saw Dinovir's thing. Do I think that harms Point Phoenix? No, it doesn't. But does it make the game lesser? Yes. XCOM cannot be replaced by the game that wants to. Exactly, that's the problem. It's very clear that Point Phoenix wants to be XCOM in how it controls, how it looks, and everything. But the problem is, it's not going to XCOM as the champion. It's a side diversion. That's really what it is at the end of the day. If you pick XCOM 2 or XCOM 1, because there's more to do. Where Point Phoenix just has, it's a very, very bare bones. And I know I hate this, I know that sounds disrespectful, but it's true at the end of the day, really. But this is just my interpretation. Eventually, how everything is flowing right now, so to speak. So eventually, I'll probably come back and talk about some more. But for now, like I said, I give it a very hesitant. If you have the time and patience to kill for XCOM, or you want to get an XCOM like game, then I think go for it.
Yeah, that's
But other
fair.
than that, but other than that, it's still gonna be, you're better off getting XCOM 2. Yeah, that's about it. At least for now.
Yeah.
All right. And I think that covers everything for tonight. Really, again, sorry it's been a slow
Whoa,
week.
big text from Durnavir.
Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, whoa. Well, I can't see what he said. What did he say?
In my opinion, did they mess up when it comes to gameplay? Sort of, because Dern, you really need to learn to put periods in your sentences, because it's just one giant sentence. It's hard to tell where the breaks are.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, it's popped up. In my opinion, uh, did they mess up when it comes to gameplay? Sort of, because it really is a copy of past, a copy is a copy past of XCOM, but the thing is they have done things differently from XCOM while being a copy because they want to make a charm of its own. The thing is, charm cannot be taken. It's exactly okay. I see what he means. It's trying to be its own thing, but also living with the reputation of XCOM, resulting in that. Would you really not do that? Why do you do these things to me?
Because I'm the one in control. Here, I'll shrink it. There we go.
But like I said, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's Point Phoenix has its charm. Point Phoenix has its things going on, but overall, it's not a game. If you had to choose between this and XCOM, I think XCOM would beat it out. And that's the unfortunate truth.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm sorry we've rambled on a bit. Again, it's been a slow. Not a lot's happened. Star Wars has been dominating things. So, but yeah, I think that covers everything for tonight.
Yep.
Unless we're missing something.
My birthday in 3 days. I
Mhm.
have a gaming controller for Lego Jurassic World now. Um, can't think of anything.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap it up. So, ladies, episode friend.
And he's cutting out again.
Talk. Son of a bitch. Hold on. Hello, 1 2 3, 1 2 3.
Hello.
All right. So yeah, thanks for tuning in this week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next Thursday with hopefully more things to talk about and maybe a third person.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned for that. This has been Rev and HH. We will see you all next time. Take care.
I mean, he does that outro, but I still have to do my thing because we're on Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer. I still don't understand Mixer. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure that out. But for those of you who are on Twitch, we are going to go and raid my good friend Lycan. He is currently playing Fire Emblem Three Houses on the Nintendo Switch. So, yeah. For those of you who are on YouTube, this is where we're going to end it. Raid Lycan Alpha. Enter. Hey, there we go. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. There is likely going to be a birthday stream on Sunday, because that's when my birthday is. Hopefully we'll see you guys next Thursday. There is hopefully a D&D stream on Monday with my friends. It's going to be Legend of the Tales. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll have a good night, everyone.